And for this hour, we're going to talk to a gentleman who wears multiple hats, and we're going to talk to him about both those hats. He's a township supervisor in Monitor Township, but he's also the police chief of Pinconning. And we say good morning to Chief Terry Spencer.
Good morning, Art. Thank you for having me here today.
Well, Terry, good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
I want to start out in Pinconning because there's some celebrating going on out there, isn't there?
Yes, we're having our annual block party, and I thank you for the opportunity to get on here and talk about it a little bit. This is our fourth annual block party. It started off back a while ago, and it was started off as a smaller meet and greet type of thing that our community leaders, police department, fire department, ambulance services just wanted to kind of have like a meet and greet, and it kind of really spiraled from there. And we have a fabulous turnout for this event. A lot of things to do for adults and the kids, and so we'd really encourage people up in that area if they get some opportunity to come on out and visit.
So when is it? Let's start with the dates.
Well, the date is going to be this Saturday, July 19th, and it's going to be from 2 to 4 p.m.
So it's just that 2-hour window then. It's not an all-day thing.
It's not an all-day thing, but we've got a lot of stuff going on that day, and also in conjunction with that, there's a citywide garage sale going on. But there's a lot of things to do for not just the adults but also the kids. And we do have a live local band, the Bentleys, that are performing. They do a lot of classic rock, and they're actually going to be doing that from 1 to 4. We're going to have for the kids, we have the Penny Mini Farms, which is a new business up there by Pinconning. They got a great variety of small animals, so they're going to have a petting zoo there. There's going to be inflatables for the kids. Rob, the magic guy, who's a fabulous performer, and the kids just love him. And also, probably the main feature of the event is the dunk tank, which I got voluntold that I'll be the first dunker.
I was going to say, you got to put the police chief in a dunk tank.
I've done it. I've done it a few different times at our Boys and Girls Club, and it's fun, and it's the kids have a great time with it. And we'll have other officials. The mayor, I think, has volunteered as well, and there might be another officer or two who might be volunteering as well.
We don't know it yet. Huh?
Yes, yeah, we'll tell them that morning.
So when you say a block party, that triggers in my mind the imagination of a street closed down.
Yes.
So where is this block party?
It's gonna be on Kaiser Street, and yes, in the downtown area of Pinconning, and we'll be blocking off the streets.
Obviously, the state's not going to let you block off 13.
No. It's a couple blocks off of 13. So it'll be blocked off, and there'll be a lot of stuff going on there. We also have about I think there's 34 vendors, and they have a array of crafts. We also got a couple food trucks up there. Num Num Ninja, and Wayne's Barbecue. If you ever have the opportunity, they're both very, very fabulous food trucks. So a lot of different things.
I have to ask, with all of that, why only 2 hours?
I might have said that wrong. I think it's actually 1 to 4. But we get out there a little bit earlier, and while it might be shut down at 4, we'll probably be there a little bit later as well. So, and I also wanted to mention that the Sagging Eagles Landing Casino, they are donating a night stay and dinner voucher as a raffle prize, and just also with that, the Saginaw Chippewa Tribal Council, they support a lot of great events up there, and I'd really like to say thank you to them. Not just from the police department and the city, and they do a lot with the fire department, the schools, but they do a phenomenal job up there supporting our community, and we were really appreciative of that. So.
Yeah, the tribe, both there and in Isabella, have become good neighbors. I mean, when you come right down to it.
Absolutely. Since they've been up there, I mean, we've had they've donated police cars, ammunition, guns, computers, tasers, radios. They've been phenomenal in supporting us.
Things that a department your size isn't going to go out and be buying every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. And the one thing, and we talked about this before we went on the air, I just want to mention the fact that what I really like about Pinconning right now is the stability.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We don't hear anything about it anymore.
And that's a good thing. You know, it's a great environment. You know, our city manager up there, Rebecca Lakin, she's done a phenomenal job. And she, you know, when I was talking to her about, coming on here and talking about this, you know, she really needs some kudos, because a lot of these things, as a city manager, she's really been a driving force. And there's a lot of people from the council and a lot of community partners, but she's really been pushing a lot of this stuff. And it's great because, you know, when you talk about, you know, small town America, you know, if you ever get an opportunity to go to Pinconning, you know, they have the Cheese Fest up there. They have different parades, and I mean, they have a fantastic turnout. And when you go to these things and you see there's just hundreds and hundreds of kids, you're like, where do they all come from? You know, we're up in Northern Bay County. It's a smaller community, yes, but they always have a great turnout at these events.
And let's not forget Northwoods Wholesale Outlet is sitting
Absolutely,
right there.
Absolutely.
Talk about a turnout.
And you can get lost in there for hours.
That place is
I love going there.
That place is unbelievable.
Yeah, and they do a great job, and they do as well as them as a business. They support us quite often, so we're really appreciative of that. You know, and that's one of the great things about, you know, on the side of being the chief of police up there in Pinconning, and we talked about this a little bit. You know, right now I'm working up there part time, but they have a great community, and they've got a lot of people up there, a lot of leaders, a lot of businesses. You know, we a lot of times we post things on social media. We'll put Pinconning proud, and that's a fact. I mean, there's just some great people up there that are doing some great, wonderful things, and they really care about that place. So,
and your department, you got 3 sworn officers,
yes,
mostly
yes.
daytime duty,
yes,
and then you're
yeah.
covered by MSP and the sheriff's department.
Yes,
the rest
sir.
Of the time.
Yeah. We usually have a daytime officer, and then the weekends and nights, and you know, hit and miss there. And we kind of rotate the schedule around, but we work with what we have, and it seems to work out pretty well. So,
well, you do what you got to do. I mean,
that's all you can do. That's
small
all you
town
can do.
America is just
Yes.
that, isn't it?
That is a fact. That is a fact. But I will tell you this. You know, it's and I kind of mentioned this. You know, I've been up there. You know, I first became a police officer in 2003, and I've been in Pinconning since 2007. And that was always a stepping stone. I was always going to go to a bigger police department. And you know what I found out was, you know, it's a great community. And there's a benefit to, you know, not just that it's a law enforcement friendly community, but there's a lot of good people out there.
You know everybody.
Yeah, you know everybody.
You really get to know everybody.
It really helps, and especially on the law enforcement side. You get to know people, and so it doesn't hurt.
Well, you know, it's strange in a way.
Yeah.
For a small department with a very small staff, you have a better chance of community policing than the big departments do today.
Yeah, and we take a lot of pride in that. And, you know, as mentioned, you know, we do a lot of things with the Boys and Girls Club. We're very active with the high school. We do other different events, like we have a Christmas event every year. And again, you know, when you've got Santa Claus there and you've got 200 kids lined up, you know, that's and that's a great thing about, you know, one of the most rewarding things about being the police chief there and years of being a police officer there is, you know, the support that you get from the community and these interactions that you have with, you know, especially the kids. You know, when you get to talk, and it's funny because I talked to a state trooper the other day. He's a graduate of Pinconning High School. You know, we're just kind of joking around. He's probably in his mid-30s now, and make myself feel a little old now. But
I don't want to hear it.
but I know a lot of people from that area who've went into law enforcement, or you know, they just, you know, you talk to them and you know, and then contacts and relationships that you kind of build over the years, and maybe inspired them to go into a different direction in life, and you know, that's a wonderful thing. So,
yeah.
You know.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We're talking to Chief Terry Spencer from Pinconning. He's also the supervisor of Monitor Township. We'll talk a little bit about that too when we return.
For 100 years, Forward.
All right, we are back with you in studio with me, Terry Spencer, who is police chief in Pinconning. He is also the supervisor in Monitor Township. We'll come to Monitor Township in a little bit, but I want to finish up with policing. What got you into it, Terry?
Well, when I got out of the service, I'd kind of thought about it prior to going in the military, and when I got out, I had my GI Bill, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to go into, and I actually, so I decided I wanted to go into criminal justice, and just about that time, they had that incident that the couple of the officers in Bay City were ambushed, and I decided, and my dad kind of talked to me. He says, "Well, hey, maybe that's not what you want to do." And a couple of years went by, and I met my now 20. I'm going to get in trouble if I say this wrong, but 22-year wife. And we got talking one day, and she says, "You ever regret not doing it?" And I was like, "I kind of did." And we were in a good position at that point, and she says, "You should try it." And when I got through the police academy, and I got my first job as a deputy, and I never looked back. I never regretted making that decision. It was always just, I always liked the part where, when we have contact with people, somebody's obviously got a problem, and we get to solve that problem. And, it gives us the opportunity to not only, to take care of, criminal issues that we may have, but, we really get to help people, and that part is satisfying.
99% of the police officers I know, and throughout my life I've known lots, and my father was a federal agent. They were all in it for the same reason. They want to help people.
Yeah.
There's a funny story about that, though. My late wife was from Reading, Pennsylvania. We used to drive there every year.
Yeah.
And one year we stopped at a rest area in Pennsylvania on the Pike because she wanted to let the dog out and walk the dog. And I went inside to get something, came out, and behind my car is parked a state trooper. And he's talking to my wife, and I'm going, uh-oh. So I went over there, and his introductory line to her was, "You got a license for that wild animal?" And we got to talking, and we probably spent about 10 minutes talking police stuff and what have you. And then he said, "Well, I got to get back on the road and tick off Americans one person at a time," because he was on traffic. That's what he did,
Yeah.
And it just reminded me that most of the time, public interaction with police is negative.
Yes.
Because either you're a victim, or you've been traffic stopped, or you did something wrong. And yet, 99% of the time, you go about your business and you don't think about it.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll tell you that, one of the times that I didn't like being a police officer, and I won't name this person, but I was a deputy, and the sheriff told me one day, he says, "Hey, I'm going to put you on freeway patrol." And I said, "Okay, well, what's the expectations of being out there?" And he gave me a ticket book, and this is when we had books. There's 25 tickets, and he says, "I'm not going to tell you how many tickets you got to write. Just make sure it's empty every time you come back." and I was out there for about 4 months, and in I-75 it was never difficult, and I never stopped anybody unless they were going 15 over.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that part, and I liked the part about helping people out more, and and I was talking to you earlier about people you have contact with, and as a dad, proud dad moment, when I was telling you about my son, we went in the military, he's serving on the USS Harry S. Truman, which is an aircraft carrier out of Norfolk. And I was in the Navy like he is, and when he told me he wanted to go in the Navy and be in a Master at Arms, which is essentially military police, and he went to boot camp, and then he went down to San Antonio, Texas, and went through the Naval Security Schools, and the day I got to pin his badge down, that was really something.
And he's, so everybody understands, in the Navy, there's naval personnel who are in security.
Yes.
And then there are civilians who oversee criminal investigations, which is NCIS.
Yes.
We've all seen the TV show. Not really like that, but there is the civilian investigative service.
Yes, yeah, and part of his duties, on the aircraft carrier, which is approximately 5,500 people in a small container. They do a lot of police work, and unfortunately, just like anywhere else in America, they have a lot of minor stuff, fights and theft and little things like that. So it's people. So it wasn't. They just got back from an 8-month deployment. They spent most of that deployment in the Red Sea, interacting with the Houthis, and So So they had some, they had some situations over there, which as a dad, it was, nerve wracking, to say the least. I
Yeah,
guess.
at least being on an aircraft carrier, though, it's
Yes.
nobody likes to fool with aircraft carriers.
I told him, I says, you know what? If you're going to be in a place that you don't want to be, there's no better place to be than the United States aircraft carrier. I mean, they got some of the finest vessels out there protecting them.
Yeah, they're never alone.
They're never alone. So, that was the fortunate part of that. So
That's interesting. And when he gets out,
he's talked about maybe going to the DNR, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
good for
but
him.
they got a lot of good benefits. He's got a GI Bill, and we'll see if he wants to go to school or sign up. But I told him, I says, there's a lot of good opportunities right now with state police too. So,
boy, I'll tell you, that's the truth. I mean, well, policing, ever since the George Floyd incident,
Yep.
police got a bad rap.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate. The only thing that makes the news are the negatives.
Yes, that's
And
really
those few individuals that do stupid things represent the tens of thousands of men and women who put on the uniform every day and go
Yes.
to work and want to help their communities and serve their people. And
Absolutely.
recruiting is hard now.
Yeah, and when I first became an officer, when I got out of the police academy, I mean, if there was 35 people that were in our class, there was probably 2 or 3 that were sponsored, and the rest of them had to pay.
Yeah, now
And it's completely opposite now. I don't know if there's anybody
departments
that's
have to.
not. Yeah, everybody's sponsored.
everybody's sponsoring, and the problem was for a while
now. Yeah.
the departments that's sponsoring, their people were all picked off by the other departments.
Yes, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a constant, and I hate to, we get a new officer. I hate to introduce them to other people at departments because it's their question. Hey, so how much are you getting paid? Where you?
Well,
where
and
you at?
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I can remember a number of years ago, before Floyd and all that stuff,
Yeah.
we were losing police officers, but you could replenish the supply easily.
Yes.
But you were losing them because Las Vegas would hire everybody
Yeah. Yeah.
at
Yeah.
good money. So
Yeah.
people were moving out to Vegas, filling up that police department and leaving holes all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And like I said, when I started, it was really hard to find a job, but now there's just jobs everywhere. So.
Every department, doesn't matter where you go. If you want to be a police officer,
And I think, unfortunately, the bad effect I think on that is, there's people that maybe getting jobs that wouldn't have gotten jobs before, because they have to have people. So and it is what it is. And
well, you hope though
Yeah.
that either if they make it through the academy, you hope if they shouldn't be an officer that the FTO
yes, yeah.
washes them out eventually.
From the departments that I know locally, they do a great job of that. I mean, they have a lot of very extensive FTO programs. So yeah, they do a good job of that.
For those of you at home, it's field training
Yeah.
officer.
Yes.
Because when you come out of the academy, you're not just given a car and say go out.
Correct. Yeah. No.
You got several months of
Yes.
driving around with somebody
yes.
else.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to talk about something else that Terry does, and that has to do with Monitor Township. Just ahead.
The time has come to ask Attorney
And we're back with you in studio, Penn County Police Chief Terry Spencer, and we'll come back to the block party toward the end here. But he also happens to be the supervisor of Monitor Township, which is one of the growth stories in this area.
Yes, sir.
Township is, every time I turn around, it seems like you're growing.
Yeah. We've had, this is my second term as a supervisor, and we've had some very phenomenal things that have happened, over the last 4 years. With some of the businesses that have come into town or into Monitor. We have the SK Siltron. Obviously, we had the PepsiCo that came in there. $300 million investment, $15 million investment, but we've had a lot of success with smaller investments at all. And as a township. I think that we've, with support from our trustees, we've really taken a different attitude than I think what some of the boards in the past have been, where business are looking to come into a community, and if you're a business and you come into a township and you're not familiar with people and you don't know how the process works, it can be a hassle. It really can be. And when I became supervisor, one of the things that I talked with my staff, and I have a wonderful staff at the township, is what can we do to make this more business friendly, helping people out, because there's nothing worse, and I have businesses also, and there's nothing worse than when you want to get something done as a business owner, that there's all these things you got to go through.
It's funny you mention it.
Yeah.
And I blame the state for a lot of that, because
yes,
on the one hand, they talk out of one side of their mouth about wanting to attract business.
right.
And on the other side, they make permitting so damn difficult. You say to yourself, what are they talking about?
Right. So we've made a lot of great steps there, and I get it back from the community, and I get it back from people that we work with, and like I said, from the big businesses to the small businesses. When people call you up and they say, what, that wasn't that bad, or they got to go to the planning commission, you help them out, or whatever they got to do.
Proof in the pudding is the growth.
Yes, absolutely.
Something must be working right.
It's working out pretty good, and we have some very great areas that the growth has been happening. More notably, out in Industrial Park, which we've renamed. We decided to rename. It was Valley Center Tech Park just recently with our Owners Association, our Downtown Development Authority, and just recently approved by the board. We're changing that name now to Monitor Township Technology Park, and we want to have some more ownership in that. Well, when we had the presidential visit out there, it was interesting because you'd see stories in the news and they're popping up and it'd say something like Detroit, Michigan, or Bay City, Michigan, and
north of Detroit. Or,
yeah. And but a lot of these spectacular things that have been happening, they've been in Monitor Township, and we like people know that. This is what we're talking about. So a little ownership.
How many? What's the population size of Monitor?
We have just a little over 10,000, about 10,500 people. We've been working on a lot of different. We talked about housing earlier. We've got
that's where I was heading.
Yeah, and we've been working on some housing. We have one developer that is putting in some houses by Midland and 2 Mile area, and we've had some other ones that. But it's a slow process, and you know how that goes. But as we talked about, a lot of the businesses that are coming in our township kicking the tires. One of the issues that we have is, and we know this, is having people available to work. So
I have said to many, the Great Lakes Bay region could lead the state in growth the way
Absolutely.
It's going.
Yeah.
With Corning coming in, Hemlock Semiconductor, SK Siltron,
yeah.
and the other facilities in your township, just
Yeah.
your township
Yeah.
alone. But we still have to have the people, and we have to house them someplace.
Yeah.
We
do.
That's the difficulty.
Yeah. And and as on the township side, one of the things that I'll a lot of kudos to my board members that we have. We have the best roads in Bay County in Monitor Township. We have my opinion, we have some of the best infrastructure. We have a phenomenal fire department. We have a lot of things that we've focused on, to make our community better, and that's in our parks. We've made some major developments and gotten grants and redone our Sty Park. And
describe the geographic boundaries of Monitor.
So if you go down to the south, Hotchkiss Road, to the north, Town Line 14, over on the east side, going up Euclid, and then it jumps over to 2 Mile to the north, and on the basically on the west side, you're talking 8 Mile Road. So
it's
standard,
a pretty healthy sized township
physically a good sized township. Obviously we have a lot of we've got a great it's a great mix. I mean, we have I think it's 13 subdivisions. A lot of farmland. Farming is agriculture is very important to our community. So it's a really we're actually just talking recently. We're trying to figure out the numbers on the development of what the mix is there. So, but we have a great mix of people there. So there's a lot of different things going on out there. So,
do you expect at some point in time to build some multi-unit housing?
There's been discussion, and once again, we have landowners out there that have property that's available. And one, for example, is last year we received a grant for about $4.1 million. We're doing a sanitary sewer project on Wilder Road, and if you think about where Myers is, or the Army National Guard shack there, we're going to be boring underneath I-75. Yep.
Good for you.
Yes, and it's going to head west on 4 Mile Road. We do have one business that's down there. It's going to go down to 3 Mile Road to ATS Printing, and then we're still waiting for some of the bids to come back. But we think we're going to go all the way to 4 Mile. We may go north or south. So we're really open up.
Covered by that grant.
Yeah. So, but it's just, once again, how the price on everything is just. They did a feasibility study in 2019, and the price was around 1 point something million dollars, and it's went to 4 now. So
for the same thing.
For the same thing, and so we're working out a couple of them things, but that area there on 75 and Wilder Road, just like our industrial park, has been labeled by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation as hot spots of the area. So it really gives us an opportunity to develop these areas and bring in some good businesses and some tax base, make some jobs, and that's one of the important things when you get a township like ours, where we like to have good things. You got to pay for them, and it's not cheap, as you know.
Nope.
And but our board does a really great job of evaluating some of them things and where's our priorities, and and our staff has done a good job, and we work with different organizations like Bay Future and our engineer Spicer, with grants. We got our Herbert Stye Memorial Park that we got a grant last year, so we did a lot of work down there. We revamped that whole park.
Did you guys have any ARPA dollars?
We did have ARPA dollars. We had about $1 million in ARPA money, and similar to what Hampton Township and Bangor would have had. They're close in population, and I think we utilized that in a very well manner. We did a lot of updates to our hall. We put in this thing called air conditioning.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
Well, it's funny because a friend of mine, and I've been to a lot of different events, and some things is changing my role to the citizen to being the supervisor. You don't pay much, you don't notice it as much, but I'm a friend of mine. His daughter got married. Like many people, they've spent a lot of money on their dress and they look beautiful, and you're sitting there at the wedding reception and she's sweating. She's like, "Hey, can we turn the heat down?" I'm like, "There is no down button." So it was a great move by our board to say, "Hey, let's put some split units in this, make it so we're and update it, make it so and we've got user friendly, and so we've done a lot of them little things with that ARPA money too, but put more money in the parks and trying to make some of the things better for people, and however we can do it to make it better for our community, that's what we're going to do. So,
all right, we'll be right back with Terry Spencer after these notes.
We're proud to make.
We do when we have any events that we have. One of the things that we commonly do is we always have free gun locks. And, we get them by the cases. Of course, we always encourage people to utilize them in the correct way. But I have people ask me all the time, "Can I use this for my bike, or can I use it?" Like, "Okay, you can use it for whatever you want.
Once it's yours.
Once it's yours,
it's yours.
You can do whatever you want."
And
so,
define the location of the block party?
It's going to be on Kaiser Street in the downtown business district. So just a couple blocks off M13. And like I said, a lot of things to do. So if you get the opportunity, please come out and visit. It's going to be a great time.
And then while you're up there, if you want to stop in a cheese shop, that'd be okay.
Oh, there's so many wonderful places to stop. If we get a lot of variety of places that you can visit up there, and it's interesting because when you go, me and my wife, we travel a lot, and we were in Jamaica this last spring, and I was talking to a guy, and a lot of people from everywhere there, and this happened before, and it happened one time when we were in Italy too. I've been talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm also I'm the chief of police up in Penn County." "Oh yeah, you guys got that cheese up there, or I've been in Northwoods, or whatever."
You have those destination
yes,
places.
It's definitely a destination point.
Well, Terry, listen, thanks for coming down today, and we hope the block party goes well Saturday.
thank you
from
for the
noon to 4.
opportunity. Yeah, thank you so much.
Chat with you again. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Anytime, appreciate it.
Terry Spencer, police chief in Pinconning, and also the Monitor Township supervisor. All right, that'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for this Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more. Stick around now for Focus. We'll talk insurance with Ken Buck from Buck Insurance in Freeland. Before that, news from CBS. Michael Purchase in the WSGW newsroom. We'll be back right after the news.
Broadcasting from the